Okay,
Right.
crew. I finally got Jay Kelly on the Zoom. This has taken a while. So actually, it's probably taken years to get him on the. It's taken him years to take Skillest seriously, to be perfectly honest. We've, I met Jay. We met years ago at West Kent Golf Club, but you were very much running your own golf club. Oh, sorry, you were the head professional at a golf club. You were doing in-person coaching, good facility, but. And and you've always had demand on skill list without you probably taking it seriously, but now you've actually taken it seriously, and you've quit everything. You've finally made the step to go, right, I just want to build a big, massive digital business. You're not at West Kent anymore. You're not doing much of the in-person stuff. You're doing a little bit of in-person stuff, which you do use Skillest for, but now you've moved to like 50 subscribers. You've gone from pretty much nothing to 50 subscribers in a couple of months, haven't you?
Yeah, I was just saying there, like on the whiteboard next to me, had like in 2023, just dabbling in and out of Skillist. I think I always wanted to do it properly, but didn't give it the time that it probably deserved. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum, really. I've had some good following on there. And then I remember when we went to the States, I literally went down to like 2 subscribers. So, so like if you don't give it the attention it deserves,
Yeah.
then it will just drop off. And we're talking then about retention. And what you have to do that. But on the whiteboard next to me, I had a goal of 20 subs, and I
Mm.
didn't even have that. And now I've just got up to mid 50s, which might not be a lot in comparison to some of the guys on there. But I mean, it's grown pretty fast just with a formula that I seem to have sort of put together.
Amazing. And you were just about to go into that formula with me, and I said, "Hold on, let's grab this so that all the legends out there can actually learn from you." What do you think your formula is now?
I think the one big thing I changed was jumping on Zoom calls with people. That's probably the one thing that all the other coaches that have been successful have said, jumping on Zoom calls. So I make my social media pretty important.
Mm,
So on the social media, I'll be putting up a lot more before and afters.
You have
A link.
neglected that in the past as well. Like even
I
with,
have.
yeah, even with your like, I mean, you get people's. Everyone should go and look at Jay's socials because like he gets people swinging it so pure, it's incredible. So he does have the advantage of genuinely being able to fix and change motion, which is very, very obvious when you look at his socials. But you haven't because you get so busy doing other stuff, you have even neglected your socials. But now you're back.
Yeah, I think just going all in on it and giving Skillest time, like generally setting aside time in my day. So my day would look like I get up 8 o'clock till probably 10 o'clock. I'm on Skillest replying to people, making sure that they're all up to date. Then I'll do a little bit of in person. By the time I finish them in person, I've had some replies, some things come through, and then I do it again. Then
Yeah.
I go back for the day and rinse and repeat the next day.
And you
So
do
I've
use skills for all your in-person stuff, so you're able to reply while you're coaching in person as well.
correct. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
use it for all that. And I think what's been surprising is some of the subs have been through people that are in-person students, like being
fabulous.
able to upsell and do that as well. So I sell like another
Amazing.
little bolt on. I call it bolt on. So I'll have a bolt on as well. So they can do their in-person lessons and then, right, listen, you know how important it is. You're not going to see me for a month. I do think I want to keep on top of this.
Mm,
Buy the bolt on and then we can have a look. So that's been
yeah,
really successful as well. But on the Instagram front, I've just been doing the before and afters, making sure I've been doing those, adding a link, just screaming about the 15-minute Zoom calls, get them on the Zoom call. And I feel like once they're in front of you, it's such an easier sell because they find out you're a real person. There's no surprises. Like I have a little boy, I take Sundays and Mondays off. No surprises. Like there's no reason to unsubscribe because I haven't replied for 2 days and know exactly what they're getting. And that's been probably one of the things that's led to the most retention for me is just being
amazing.
upfront with them and being able to communicate that with them. But I wasn't doing the Zoom calls before. I was so anti because I didn't think I had time.
Yeah,
And I've actually stopped doing the free analysis.
yeah, great.
I don't do
That's
free
good.
analysis so much now. And I
Mm,
jump on Zoom calls and it's been so much better. And I know that all the coaches that are doing well out there are beat on about this. And so start with social media, get them into the into a chat and then
mm,
help them subscribe and understand what sort of package they need to go into.
yeah,
And I don't think you need a huge following to be able to get someone on a Zoom call.
no,
And start with some simple goals. That's what I've done. Like when I went from nothing to up to mid 50s now.
Mm.
I literally set myself a goal of, can I net profit at 3 subscribers a month?
Yeah.
So as long as I can, you might lose a couple, but bring in five, all of a sudden I've got an extra 30, 40 by the end of the year.
Mm.
I think that's been massively helpful to my mindset as
Mm.
well. Not trying to just grow like I want 40 next week. Like it's not going to happen.
No. It's so different to how we are just built as golf pros, or as pros, professional coaches in general is just like, we can't help but be a result of our environment, in probably the first 10 years of our coaching or however long, right? So, which is why often young guys work really well on skills because they're already thinking a little bit differently, right? But, I coached for 15, 16 years before I even started Skillest. And the natural inclination is to think people should come to me, people should come in and book in. I should only give any time away if I'm getting paid for any of that time. You know what I mean? Like that's just a consequence of like, how we were teaching, right? So whereas now people are giving more away, they're initiating more, I've got no doubt like going forward that for your in-person coaching, there's probably people are going to do more onboarding Zooms, even for your in-person coaching. Like the idea that you actually go and get an in-person lesson and don't really know what product you're about to get until you've paid and walked away from it and gone, well, I didn't want that. Or does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Well,
that,
it's already happened on the platform where people have accidentally booked in without realizing it's online lessons and then
yeah,
jump on the call and it's actually for an in-person lesson. They want to know a bit about you. They want to know if you're a good fit. And
yeah,
I can completely see how it probably should go that way, really. I
yeah,
mean, we've just got married, as we just mentioned, and every single supplier that we had to have a Zoom call with our photographer. We had to have a Zoom call with the cake lady. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's already happening in other industries, and I think it can happen for in person. But even in person, like everyone that gets busy in person will have some form of some sort of formula, right?
yeah.
So whatever it may be, like how you
Mm,
get your golf lessons through the door if you're not at a driving range. And I think that's how I kind of just needed to give it that time on Skillest as well. Like, what's the formula? How can I copy and paste the in-person onboarding to Skillest? And I run a few campaigns as well doing that. You
so
know,
paid socials, you mean? You did a few, yeah,
paid socials, and also like I know I said I've stopped the free analysis now, but that's how I got busy originally in person. I was giving away free 15-minute tasters,
yeah,
following up with a would you like a cheap follow up. This is in my early days. This is like 10 years ago. But
totally.
then
I did the same thing when I first started teaching 20 years ago. Yeah,
100%. So we can't just go straight to being an assistant pro, getting 10 lessons a day in your first year of being a PGA pro, right? It's very
mm,
difficult to do so.
mm,
But then I thought that's got to be the same onboarding experience or the same strategy for online because I'm a no one in the world in the online space in the grand scheme of things. So how do I build up that? So I didn't charge a fortune. We give away some some free tips and
yeah,
so, like give well almost a full lesson to be honest.
yeah.
And then if you need to give them a little discount code to get them your first couple across the
Mm,
line, so be it. And that's how I started out. And now I'm in a place where I don't have to necessarily do that as much, but it's taken a good few years to get to that state. Same as if I was
mm.
in, don't just go straight to being busy. Well, you might,
No.
but I didn't.
And what you've got to remember is that the onboarding Zooms work really well for you right now because you do have history on the platform over the past, year or two where you've got ratings and reviews. People can see you've given, a lot of lessons, and there is already a fair bit of like social proof and trust within your profile. So you probably don't need to do as much as someone who's brand new to the platform. You just need to do everything you can to get momentum, meaning like how do I get, ratings? Even if you do nothing but sort of some free stuff, some friends involved, getting your in-person students to rate and review you, which, Skills is the only teaching platform in the world that actually gets your in-person students to build your social proof for you. Like the first 2 months are just about building trust and social proof on the platform, right? And fortunately for you, you've sort of built that and you're ready to move into these zones. But, mate, it all comes back to, just, and once again, I talk about this all the time. The new age of golf pro and, teaching pro will be outbound. right? You know how to attract someone that lives on the other side of the world, right? Whereas we have forever, we've been inbound, like at West Kent, you would literally sit back and people would come in, a little bit of word of mouth and, but probably unlikely that someone, further than Sussex or Brighton would come and see
Yeah.
you, if that makes sense. It'd be very unlikely that someone would, travel that much further to come and see you. Whereas now, because you're more outbound, you've got people flying in from India, you were telling me. You've got a guy coming in from Norway, is that right? Next
Yeah,
week?
yeah. So I've had a few guys flying from India last month that are pros out in India that have come over. I've got a guy flying in from Norway.
Yeah.
Uh, I've had a few guys come in. A guy from Saudi 3 weeks ago flew in.
Wow.
Just so cool, right? That you start on the platform, you've never met these people, and now they're in front of you. And yeah, I mean, it is absolutely amazing, really, what it's turned into for sure.
Amazing, mate. That's really good. So, like, I would say that, obviously that being outbound, onboarding people, giving away a little bit of time to understand what they need, to build, rapport and trust and all that stuff is what sort of got you there. Is there one other thing you'd sort of say, or a couple of other things you'd tell all the coaches out there who are trying to build momentum?
I mean, it's hard because I did start with socials. I think that the one thing I just want to stress is just a strategy. I think if you're going into it with no strategy and you're just expecting people to come to you, I think that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Literally pen and paper strategy, right? How am I gonna? And I used to brainstorm as well with a friend of mine, Lewis Saville. We used to brainstorm because people go, how can I advertise Skillest? How do I even post about it? And we brainstormed all the things that you could do for Skillest. You got
Mm.
before and afters, lesson snippets, reviews. There's so many things that you can post about. So every time I get a positive review, I'll post about it with the
Yeah.
link, book a 15-minute Zoom. And I think Alex Clapp does a brilliant job of just reinforcing it on the socials. Every day you'll
Mm.
see that that link is up. I think it was Alex Riggs that talked about that as well. Some
Yeah.
guys are always talking about reinforcing it, but that's part of the strategy. That's not luck.
Mm.
So
That's
the
exactly
strategy
right.
is
Yeah.
do
I,
some
I
before
love
and
that. And
after.
yeah, sorry, you go.
No, no, I was going to say do some before and afters, links, onboarding. What can I offer them? Discount code if you need to. It's a whole train of things. It's not just, can I be busy, please?
Awesome. Yeah. Multi-pronged attack. That's what I tell everyone is that like, how do you,
Yeah.
you want people coming in from all over the place, whether it's word of mouth, in person, like recommendations, whether it's like someone from socials, whether it's someone on Skillest. So we get hundreds of people downloading the platform, the app every day, creating profiles, looking for coaches, So like, what am I doing to actually attract people that are on the, platform? Like once I get a follower, that's something you're doing as well. This is something that, a lot of coaches aren't taking advantage of. Like, if someone comes in and follows you on Skillest, right? Think about how hard a lead that is, right? If they've gone through the effort of, all right, I'm really interested in this online stuff and learning remotely and like getting a lot more, touch points with my coach. They find you on Instagram potentially that, or they download the platform and they find you and they hit that follow button on Skills. That is someone that's pretty obsessed with getting better at the game, right? Like we, by definition, attract people that want to get better and are willing to put the time in. So you need to attack that follower, whether it's through broadcasting messages, to your group of followers. And I know what's your strategy around that because I do follow you and I get a lot of your content.
I was gonna say actually, yeah, I'm glad you touched on that because I spent at one point I spent more time trying to get my follower feature up on my following up on the Skillest app than I did on Instagram because they're in the platform. They're one click away from purchasing. So like I will have like I keep banging on about strategy, but like on a set day, you should have right. I'm going to give these people one piece of content on
Yeah.
a set day every week. Just do it. You're engaging with them. They're on the platform. You can see how many people are viewing it, which is pretty cool. And you'll be surprised how many people reach out. And then just give, and then you get the opportunity to ask. So now I
Yeah.
can ask. Here's a free link. Would you like anyone that's seen my stuff for a while? Would you like to jump on the a Zoom with me? And that's how I do it.
And
And
it's,
I use the feature a lot, to be fair. And I think again, a lot of the coaches that I know are doing well on the platform will use that feature because they're one click away.
yeah, absolutely. Love it, mate. All right. Let's leave it there. That's plenty of information for everyone. But mate, my golden retriever's just walking into the background here. But I appreciate everything that you've. It's great to have you focused. You know what I mean? Because I think that you need to give, what you've got to the world, right? Like if everyone out there go and have a look at Jay's socials, he just gets. I love. I always say this about Jay. Doesn't matter what you teach or what methodology you teach, if you can't actually communicate with someone to shape them to what both of you want to go to, you don't. You might as well not have the information, right? You need to have the ability to articulate and shape someone if that's what you both want to do. And if you look at Jay's students, it's clear he has that ability, right? So the great thing about it, and I've said this once again, is that when you look at Jay's content, right, you can go, all right, that's the product. I can see what I'm going to get. If I pay Jay money, I'm going to get this product. So that's something to think about as well. Jay's probably not as conscious of this as what I am when he puts this stuff up, but it's like, it's just so it's pretty easy to understand what I'm going to get, right? So when you are actually thinking about your content and what you're actually doing, you just want to make sure what is the product I'm displaying? Like what do people feel like they're going to get from this experience once I put this content out there? If it's really generic and it's just anything, it's not really going to be great at like selling, if that makes sense. Or people aren't going to know exactly what they're going to get. So that's just what Jay does really, really well.
Thank you. But even I've had a, just to close on that, even I've had a switch on that
Yeah,
by posting more before and afters. I've completely
yeah,
realised what the product needs to be
yeah.
because I was just jumping on camera and doing that. But I've really thought lately about what I'm trying to post and communicate as well. But I know the stuff works. I've been on the rise and fall of it, should we say? Like I've been growing and then down to two again. Like I've been on both ends, and every time I put my focus and follow my formula, everyone's formula is going to be slightly different, but that's I see it grow again. So for anyone that's struggling to grow, I think that's a really important piece to try and take out of it.
Love it, mate. You're a star.
Cool. Thanks, mate.